Hello and welcome to another episode of the RURBANIVE Podcast. Today we're exploring the world of rural-urban enablers, or how to turn innovative ideas into real-world solutions. Let's dig deeper into that exciting challenge with our guest Iñaki Fernández from CARTIF. Welcome Iñaki, it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, it's a pleasure to be here.
So what is CARTIF's role in RURBANIVE?
So CARTIF is responsible for developing the culture and landscape heritage, promotion and access enabler. So in the RURBANIVE project specifically, we are focusing on creating a set of tools called cognitive computing tools in order to empower tourism and territorial management and to see how people perceive different cultural and landscape content from different areas, and especially with rural areas to provide some value to tourist operators or to administration, etc. Specifically, in our case, we're working with a region in Spain, in the north of Spain. It's called the Valles Pasiegos Burgaleses. So it's an area that has suffered from depopulation, etc. And the idea is to try to empower with technology and those tools for sustainable tourism and for mitigating rural depopulation and protecting these heritage landscapes and its culture.
Okay, that is challenging. The term rural-urban enablers sounds a little bit technical. Could you break it down for us? Can you give us another word maybe for that?
I mean, it does sound technical, but it's not so complicated. What we are focusing on in general in RURBANIVE are on those enablers which are innovative solutions. So those are innovative solutions in this case for bringing together rural and urban environments. You could use, for example, connectivity. So those are different resources that could enable in different aspects the connectivity between rural and urban environments.
What was the thinking behind choosing to develop solutions within those specific domains?
So the domains chosen in RURBANIVE, that is circular bioeconomy, that is mobility, that is ecosystem restoration and protection, user engagement, and what was the other one? Logistics, and ours, which is cultural heritage protection. So those have been chosen because of their relevance with respect to rural areas and the link between rural and urban areas. The idea is that they can be potentially used to enhance collaborations and to bring mutual benefits between urban areas and rural areas. These sectors, the idea is that we can help with those innovations to promote well-being and economic development and bring jobs to rural areas and bring things from rural areas also to urban areas, like people and culture, etc.
Okay, that is very clear. How do these innovations act as a bridge, as you said, between rural and urban areas, and why is that connection so crucial?
So the connection is crucial, first of all, because we live in either urban or rural areas. There's a lack of link between them both, I would say. So the idea is to create these bidirectional connections in which, for example, urban areas can gain access to rural resources, both natural and human-based. For example, they can be promoting heritage tourism, green solutions, etc. And on the other hand, rural areas can receive technological advancements from urban areas. They can receive logistics, they can receive other kind of innovation, economic opportunities, etc. So strengthening this connection is very important in order to revitalize and maintain this link between them both. We're not living in a disconnected world, so it's very important that this link is maintained, and that's what we aim to achieve.
Yes, of course, we are all part of a larger ecosystem. Can you share an example of what a successful rural-urban enabler in action could be? What makes it work?
So I will give you an example with the one that I know most. Is the one that we are developing this enabler. So it's the heritage cultural and landscape heritage access and protection. That's what we're doing. The idea is that we're trying to reinforce these links in a way from our perspective. In our case, it's a very much technological rural urban enabler. In other cases, it's more socio-technical or it has other kind of links. In our case, what we're doing is developing so-called cognitive computing tools that we try to use them in order to compute a value of affection for a person when presented with content of this rural area. Let's imagine that a person arrives at an information office from a city, and they would be able to try our tools in order to be presented on a screen, for example, different pictures of landscapes, etc. And one of our tools, for example, what it would be doing is to measure, to capture the reaction of the person visually, and to try to evaluate if they're reacting positively or negatively, in which degree to the content presented. Could also be asking them to describe what they're seeing. Maybe they're using positive words, maybe they're using negative words, maybe neutral. So that gives us also another indicator into the affective perception of these tools. So the idea with this is to address sustainable cultural tourism, and this would be a tool, for example, for territorial management administration, like regional government. Those are our stakeholders actually in the project, in order to drive or direct different kind of policies to enhance, for example, the cultural aspects of the area, or to protecting this kind of or this kind of landscape in that area, etc., etc. So in the end, the goal is to achieve impact into all of this, and also to create tools that can be used elsewhere as well.
This sounds very interesting. I think everyone is expecting the results on that. So when can we expect for someone to be able to use these enablers?
So in the RURBANIVE project, we are currently at the month 16. That would be more or less a third of the project, right? So we're delivering in a couple of months, we're delivering the so-called alpha version of the enablers. That would be a partial version of these tools that we are using in order to develop them further. The project will be running for 48 months. 48 months. So we will be finishing along the lines of, I guess, end of 2027, something like that, yeah. And it is being tested and co-developed along 7 rural urban co-creation labs, a long word for saying a testing region and stakeholders involved in there, etc., etc. So we will be having something already at the end of this second year.
Okay, that's great. What role do culture, heritage and landscapes play in sustainable development?
Well, especially related to urban communities, those are key assets. Those are key points of historical importance. You may have regions, especially in Spain, we have many small regions that have been over the time depopulated, and things are being lost there. And in order to get a sense of identity, of continuity, of the cultural parts, the ethnos, if I may, of it, these kind of resources, culture, tangible and intangible, heritage buildings, for example, bridges, other kind of houses, etc., even food, protecting these kind of things helps attracting visitors, attracting tourism, and even potentially attracting new inhabitants. So that could be a super nice outcome if we could get that, even in the long term. That's our aim. So in a way, we need to protect this intergenerational knowledge passing, which otherwise, if we don't do nothing, I'm not talking about myself, but I could be talking also about public administration and other stakeholders, we need to do something in order to protect it.
I see. CARTIF is responsible for the co-creation lab in Burgos, Spain, as you mentioned earlier, which will develop an enabler to promote sustainable cultural tourism. Can you walk us through the process that you're going to follow?
Well, what we try to do is to create a set of tools, as I was mentioning earlier, that in the end, they are all oriented towards capturing this perceived value by users on different contents related to this culture, heritage, and landscapes. So the idea is to analyze how people respond emotionally to this content presented. The data gathered through different means will serve to create reports and information databases that could inform administration or even tourism operators, for example, to define their strategies on what to enhance, what to prioritize, and how to do it in a sustainable way.
Okay. How do you involve local communities in shaping these innovations rather than just imposing external solutions?
So, with difficulty. That would be my first answer.
That would be my guess too.
Yeah, it's kind of the stakeholders and the local people also there are usually relatively reticent to use new technology or to bring things. That's why in the RURBANIVE project, co-creation plays a major role. So the idea is that we are not trying to impose. We have a technology we develop, we bring it to them, and okay, use it, and that's it. No, what we do is to iteratively develop this technology and adapt it, change, I don't like this interface, could you change it for me? Or I don't understand this part, why do you not understand this part? So we delve into this kind of things, and in a way that allows us to bring it to a more closer position to people, more human-centric position in the development of these technologies. This is not the typical usual approach or traditional approach to technology, especially from technology. Maybe other areas are more knowledgeable of these kind of things, but in technology we were used to more like bringing our technology and imposing it to other people. But we have had very many successes into using this kind of approach. Actually, we use it in our center in other kind of projects, like with elderly people, for example, and we think it's the way to go.
Yeah, so the feedback is very important, that can make the technology friendlier to the end user,
and it's
especially in rural areas.
Absolutely, and it's not just a matter of me, myself, in my office, I'm making this technology more friendly, or what I think it's more friendly. It's actually doing co-creation sessions and interacting with the stakeholders, etc., to bring it to that level.
What will be the benefits of that innovation for cultural heritage and the economy of rural areas?
Hopefully many. Hopefully many. But first of all, we expect to be able to impact and to increase tourism, so bringing more people to these rural areas. Also, in a way, this increased tourism and increased links has many further impacts as a consequence that could lead to economic growth, supporting local businesses and job creation, etc. And one of our main goals, not only in this project but in related projects as well, is to be able to protect culture understood, as I was saying earlier, as tangible, non-tangible, buildings, landscapes, etc., etc. And if we manage to move this along and to provide further impact, community revitalization, encouraging people to work together and bidirectionally between rural and urban areas, would be the top of the impacts we want to achieve.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. A very big thank you to our guest from CARTIF, Iñaki Fernández, for bringing us closer to how rural-urban enablers can drive sustainable change across regions. Thank you very much, Iñaki.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe and catch our next episode as we continue to explore the innovative minds behind RURBANIVE project. And keep looking for the connections that can make a difference.